You are not your job, not your beliefs, not even your goals. And deep down, you've always suspected it, haven't you? That something feels off, that the dreams you chase, the career, the house, the title, they're not truly yours. Like someone handed you a script at birth and you've been acting out every scene without asking who wrote it. Here's the terrifying truth. Neuroscience shows that 90% of what drives your life today was installed before you turned 7 years old. Parents, teachers, media, religion, systems that never asked what you wanted. They coded your brain with rules, with shoulds, with silent expectations. Rules like, success means a stable job. Marriage means you're complete. Money means you're worthy. You didn't choose those lines of code, you inherited them. But what if you could rewrite them? What if you could uninstall the parts of your reality that no longer serve you, like outdated apps draining your energy in the background? That's what this video is about. Not motivation, not advice, but transformation. A full mental operating system reboot. This isn't just a breakdown of ideas. It's a mirror. It's a portal. It's a rebellion against everything that told you to stay small. And here's the best part. You're not broken. You're just running an outdated version of you. And that, we can fix. So, if you've ever felt like you were meant for more, not more money, more applause, more likes, but more freedom, joy, truth, then don't move. This might be the most important hour of your life. By the end of this journey, you'll walk away with a new reality. One that you designed. One where you are no longer the character in the code, but the architect of your mind. Section 1. Shatter the mind cages. Most people don't realize they're in a prison because the bars are invisible. They're made of good intentions, polite expectations, and words like should. You should go to college. You should get a stable job. You should marry before 30. And just like that, your life becomes a checklist, not a calling. I call them mind cages, the unwritten rules that dictate how we're supposed to live. They're not laws of physics. They're cultural hand-me-downs passed from one generation to the next through social conditioning. They tell you what to wear, what success looks like, how to love, how to live, and ultimately, how to die, quietly, without ever meeting your true self. Have you ever felt this? That moment when everyone's congratulating you on your success, but inside you feel empty? I remember my own awakening, fresh out of college, working a job everyone praised me for. The blueprint was clear: climb the ladder, collect the promotions, chase security. But something didn't fit. Each day I woke up feeling hollow. One morning, stuck in traffic, I asked myself, whose dream is this? The silence that answered back was terrifying. Mind cages aren't obviously toxic. They're seductive. They reward you with approval. They come in smiles and diplomas and engagement rings. But they cost you your authenticity. Here's a funny thing about mind cages. They're like wearing someone else's prescription glasses. Sure, you can see, but everything's a bit blurry. And you get so used to the blur, you forget what clarity feels like. Research shows that beliefs exist within broader networks, making them difficult to study in isolation. But here's what I've discovered. The first step to becoming extraordinary is not about doing more. It's about unlearning. It's deleting the rules that never came from your soul. Once you see the mind cages, you can never unsee them. They're everywhere. Don't rock the boat. Play it safe. But what if rocking the boat was the only way to find your ocean? What if safety was just another word for stuck? So, I ask you now, have you ever followed a rule because that's just how it is? Have you ever chased a milestone and felt empty when you got there? If so, welcome. That's the first sign that your inner architect is waking up. You don't need to burn down your life. Just rewrite its logic. Because beyond the mind cages is a life that feels like oxygen. One where alignment matters more than approval. And one where you realize the bars were never locked. Section 2. The myth of fitting in. There's a silent war happening inside almost every person you meet. A tug of war between who they are and who they were told to be. And for most, the side that plays it safe wins. But fitting in is the first betrayal of the extraordinary. When you shrink yourself to match the room, you don't just lose your voice, you lose your compass. Let me share something vulnerable. After escaping the corporate world, even in freedom, the programming persisted. I caught myself replicating trendy startup models, mimicking CEOs who wore confidence like a costume. Then came the crash. Projects failed, burnout returned. But this time, I asked, what if trying to be like them is exactly why I'm failing? Truth rushed in. I wasn't building a business, I was building a disguise. The myth of fitting in tells you, be accepted and you'll be safe. But conformity driven by fear is often negative. The extraordinary don't fit in because they were never designed to. They disrupt, question, reshape, like Einstein shattering physics, like Maya Angelou turning survival into triumph. Like you, in that moment when you knew exactly what you wanted and said nothing. Standing out is not arrogance, it's alignment. You are a prototype of a reality that hasn't been built yet. Imagine your soul singing in color while your environment hands you black and white sheet music. That inner rebellion, it's your spirit trying to save itself. You know what's hilarious? We spend years learning to walk and talk, then the rest being told to sit down and shut up. What if the toddler had it right? What if falling and trying again with zero shame was the blueprint for everything? Feel into this for a moment. Where are you still performing? What parts of your life feel rehearsed? What if being too much was exactly what this world needs? You don't need to scream to be seen. Just stop whispering when you were meant to roar. The moment you stop trying to fit in, you begin to fit in somewhere else, somewhere true, somewhere home. And that feeling, that's your soul recognizing itself again. Section 3, you're not broken, just misprogrammed. It's easy to feel defective when life doesn't fit. When you wake up anxious in a praised job, when your Instagram perfect relationship feels hollow, when you've done everything right and still feel empty. You wonder, what's wrong with me? But the better question is, what program am I running? I call it the mental matrix, the collective operating system we inherit through socialization. It's what you're downloaded with, how to behave, what to believe, who to love, what to fear. You didn't choose it, you absorbed it like a sponge. Family, media, religion, school, they all became unconscious developers of your reality. But here's the liberating truth. Your mind is not broken, it's misprogrammed. Research shows beliefs originate from what we hear repeatedly from childhood. You weren't born anxious. You were programmed to fear failure. You weren't born unworthy. You were taught to earn your right to joy. I once believed spiritual and successful were mutually exclusive. This belief sabotaged me for years. Business success brought guilt. Spiritual peace brought fear of losing my edge. Until I realized this binary was never mine, just a glitch in the mental matrix. And glitches, they can be debugged. Think about it. If you raised a fish to believe water was dangerous, it would gasp for air on the shore. That's us. We've been programmed to fear the environment we were designed to thrive in. Joy, rest, authenticity aren't luxuries. They're our water. Neuroplasticity research shows your brain can reorganize itself throughout life. You're not failing. You're just operating on borrowed logic. You're like a powerful AI running 1990s software. Of course you're frustrated. You've outgrown your programming. Take a moment, breathe deeply. Ask yourself, what's one belief I've been living by that never felt truly mine? Something inherited, not chosen. Now imagine deleting that code. Feel your system getting lighter, cleaner, more you. This is the turning point. You were never meant to fix yourself, only to remember yourself. And now, we have the tools to do exactly that. So far, you've discovered 3 truths. You're living in invisible mind cages. You don't need to fit in to belong. And you're not broken, just running outdated software. Feel that? That's the beginning of freedom. That's your true self stirring awake. But awareness alone isn't enough. Now we need to look at what you're actually chasing, and whether it's even what you truly want. Section 4. The wrong ladder. You've seen them. The Ivy League graduate with a 6-figure job who can't sleep. The entrepreneur whose eyes look dead behind motivational smiles. Success stories on paper, slow deaths in real life. Here's the secret. Climbing the wrong ladder faster doesn't get you to the right place. I call this the trap of surface goals. The checkboxes you're told to chase. Get promoted, buy a house, hit 100K followers. They sound smart, but they're just means, not ends. They're the map, not the destination. Chase them blindly, and you'll spend your life running towards someone else's success. A friend shared her 5-year plan. MBA, promotion, passive income. When I asked, how do you want to feel in 5 years? She went silent. She'd never asked herself. She was so focused on the ladder, she had no idea what view she wanted from the top. Imagine spending 20 years climbing, only to realize your ladder's against the wrong building. You're high up, but in the wrong place. That's the tragedy of surface goals. They promise arrival, but deliver emptiness. Neuroscience shows goal setting activates the brain's reward system, but your goals are only as powerful as the emotions they deliver. If your ladder doesn't lead to joy, meaning purpose, every step takes you further from home. This is why millionaires feel poor, why married people feel lonely. They chase someone else's why. The escape, instead of, what do I want to achieve? Ask, how do I want to live? Who do I want to become? These are soul goals. I want to feel fully alive every morning. I want to create something that heals. That's the real ladder, and you can touch it today. Have you ever hit a goal and felt nothing? Maybe even emptier? That wasn't failure. That was wisdom whispering, wrong ladder. Listen to it. Once you stop chasing others' goals, you design a life built for your soul. Success stops feeling like a race and starts feeling like rhythm. But here's the next question. Can you pursue those soul goals with joy instead of grinding yourself into dust? Section 5. Hustle with joy, joy-fueled drive. There's a sickness in the air that celebrates burnout as bravery, measures worth in hours worked. Grind harder, they say. Sleep is for the weak. But what if the real weakness is forgetting how to feel alive? I discovered joy-fueled drive, a radical antidote to toxic hustle culture. It means merging discipline with bliss, using joy as fuel to do things better, not sacrificing it to get things done. Discipline without bliss becomes punishment. You become a robot marching toward goals you're too numb to celebrate. But bliss without discipline becomes chaos. Joy-fueled drive is the sweet spot. It's waking up excited for your mission, but not defined by it. It's pushing limits because you love what you're becoming. Here's what changed everything for me. I committed to daily meditation and visualization as core performance tools. Before diving into tasks, I aligned my emotional state. When I prioritized inner bliss, outer results accelerated. Revenue grew, creativity exploded. I felt alive again. Research shows positive emotions expand cognitive capacity. Joy literally makes you smarter. Gratitude increases problem solving. When we sacrifice these for productivity, we're being inefficient, like driving a Ferrari on fumes and wondering why it won't perform. Your emotions aren't distractions from success. They're the engine. Joy isn't a side effect of achievement. It's a prerequisite. Joy-fueled drive trains your nervous system to work with you, not against you. Is your daily discipline driven by fear or devotion? Do you measure worth by production or how you feel while producing? Force might get results, but it costs your soul. Flow carries and fuels you. That's joy-fueled drive. It's not softer, it's smarter. And when you operate from this frequency, something magical happens. You become magnetic. Opportunities find you. Life starts feeling less like a battle and more like a dance. Section 7. Be happy now, aim higher later. There's a dangerous myth in your mind. Once I get there, I'll finally be happy. There is always somewhere else. The promotion. The perfect partner. We chase horizons that keep moving. This old model says, work hard now, sacrifice joy, maybe earn happiness later. But what if happiness isn't the reward at journey's end, but the fuel that powers it? This is reality bending. Research shows those with growth mindsets, believing in their ability to develop, outperform fixed mindsets. Top performers aren't delaying joy, they're living it. They operate from blissful productivity, deeply happy now while moving powerfully toward vision. Not either or, both. This isn't wishful thinking, it's neurochemistry. Good feelings open your brain to possibility. You think clearer, act bolder, connect deeper. You're in flow. Stress-based striving narrows minds, shuts creativity, makes decisions reactive. That's not high performance, that's elegant survival. Mindbender. What if the universe responds more to emotional state than effort? Grinding from lack attracts lack. Creating from joy attracts joy. Happy people literally see more opportunities. Their peripheral vision expands. They're not lucky, just tuned differently. The more joyful you are now, the faster you move forward. You're not escaping this moment. You're using it. I built ventures this way. Joy-rooted culture, meditations, laughter, gratitude. Productivity skyrocketed. It felt effortless. Effort infused with joy becomes play. You don't choose between happy now and driven later. That's a false choice. Happiness amplifies ambition. How long have you postponed joy? What if you stopped waiting? What if this moment was already enough? Close your eyes, breathe deeply. If you were already whole, safe, successful, how would you move today? Feel that energy? That's your natural state. That version of you isn't years away. It's one decision away. The decision to bend reality, to stop trading now for later. Now that you're operating from joy, there's something we need to clear. A heaviness that doesn't show on scans, but you feel it. In your chest, in your energy, in smiles that don't reach your eyes. It's resentment. And it's a silent thief stealing your peace, power, and present moment. I've discovered that forgiveness is the most underestimated transformation tool. Not because it's soft, but because it's energetic. Think of resentment like background apps draining your battery. Forgiveness unplugs the power cord between you and pain. It breaks the emotional tether, replaying the past on loop. After a business betrayal, I spent months in anger's fog. Creativity vanished. Energy turned jagged. During meditation, when I reached forgiveness, something cracked. I saw the pain behind the betrayal. The energetic cord snapped, not with revenge, with release. Next day, body lighter, ideas sharper. Forgiveness upgraded your frequency. Here's the irony. Resentment is drinking poison expecting the other person to get sick. They're living their life while you suffer. Research confirms emotions create biochemical responses. Resentment keeps you in survival mode, cortisol, shallow breath. Forgiveness shifts your body, expands your mind, enters creative frequency. And here's the beautiful part. Forgiveness isn't even about them. It's about reclaiming your energy. It's about becoming available for the joy you've been cultivating. Imagine your body as a frequency tower. Every emotion emits signals. Fear contracts, joy expands, resentment distorts. Forgiveness clears static. In that clarity, opportunities appear. Synchronicity returns. You become visible again. Who are you still tethered to? What memory hijacks your nervous system? Are you willing to let go, not for them, but for you? You can't move at light speed dragging anchors. Forgiveness isn't letting someone off the hook. It's unhooking yourself. It's saying, I no longer bleed from closed wounds. It's radical self-respect. Clear that emotional bandwidth, and your inner world lightens. Your outer world accelerates. You become available for more. More joy, more creativity, more of the life you're designing. Take a moment, place your hand on your heart, breathe in peace, breathe out any remaining heaviness. Feel yourself getting lighter with each breath. This is you, returning to your natural frequency. This is you, becoming free. Now, from this place of lightness and joy, you're ready to build something unshakable. Section 8. Build your inner fortress. There's a moment when nothing outside disturbs what's inside. Not praise, not criticism, not success, not failure. It's not apathy, it's power. I call it your inner fortress. Once you taste it, you never settle for less. Building an inner fortress doesn't mean not caring. It means not clinging. Your self-worth is no longer outsourced to opinions, algorithms, or achievement. You're driven, but not desperate. You show love, but not for approval. You play to win, but identity isn't tied to scoreboards. Early in my career, I'd obsessively check feedback. One negative comment ruined my day. Even with 99% praise, I'd fixate on the 1%. That's what happens when internal stability is tethered to external noise. Until I asked, why give strangers power over my emotions? That broke the spell. Here's what I learned. Trying to please everyone is like herding cats while juggling flaming torches on a unicycle. Exhausting, impossible, and the cats don't care. They'll judge anyway. Might as well drop the torches and ride your own way. Carol Dweck's research shows resilience comes from focusing on process over outcome. The world doesn't get less chaotic. You get less reactive. You become so rooted in your values, your truth, that storms can rage while you remain the sky. Most people leave their fortress door open, inviting every insult, rejection, trend to define their mood. Building an inner fortress installs a filter. Only what aligns gets in. Everything else bounces off like rain on glass. This isn't becoming cold. It's becoming clear. When praise doesn't inflate and criticism doesn't deflate, you're free to create from truth, not validation. You stop performing. You start expressing. Who are you still performing for? Whose approval are you addicted to? The moment you no longer need to be liked is often when you become magnetic. The world respects those who don't chase it. Picture yourself walking through noise with stillness in your spine. Someone insults you. You smile seeing their pain. Someone praises you. You nod grateful, but not dependent. You already know who you are. That's the inner fortress. It's a skill, a practice, a daily return to self, and from this fortress you can finally see clearly. Section 9. You're the sky, not the storm. Your mind is loud, always narrating, judging, remembering, predicting. Somewhere along the way, you made a mistake. You started believing that voice was you, but it's not. It's a tool, a narrator, an echo of everything you've absorbed, and sometimes it gets it wrong. Cognitive neuroscience shows belief formation involves multiple brain processes. Here's the breakthrough. You are not your thoughts, you are the observer. That shift from identification to observation is liberation's gateway. Once you realize not every thought is true, you stop letting every thought control your life. During business scaling stress, my mind spiraled. Thoughts like, I'm not doing enough, I'm falling behind. I believe them. Until one meditation where I heard them clearly and noticed, if I can hear them, I am not them. Like stepping outside a storm, realizing the rain isn't personal, just weather. Your consciousness is the sky, infinite, spacious, calm. Thoughts are weather, clouds passing, some dark, some light, none permanent, none define the sky. Here's a fun take. Thoughts are like a drunk friend at a party, sometimes hilarious, sometimes helpful, sometimes just loud and wrong. You wouldn't let your drunk friend drive, so why let random thoughts drive your life? You can listen, laugh, but keep the keys. Imagine walking through your day aware. Thought pops up, you're not good enough. You smile, hello old program. Another, what if I fail? You exhale, thanks for trying to protect me, but I've got this. In that space between stimulus and response, you become sovereign. This isn't denying thoughts, it's relating differently. Witness your mind like a scientist. When you do, anxiety softens, reactivity fades, creativity rises. You become less entangled, more intentional. What recurring thought holds you hostage? I always mess up. I'll never be enough. What if that's not truth, just an echo? Thank it for showing up, then let it pass like a breeze. The moment you stop fighting your mind, it softens. Stop believing every thought, find peace. Realize you're the sky, not the storm, rise above weather. Section 10. Mental architecture. If your mind is a machine, beliefs are its software. Most people run on programs installed decades ago by people who never knew who you'd become. But what if you could rewrite them? Update your internal system constantly, consciously, intentionally? This is mental architecture, deliberately upgrading your models of reality, beliefs about how the world works, and systems for living, habits and behaviors. Together, they shape everything from health to wealth, relationships to purpose. The danger? Most were inherited, not chosen. They're outdated. You're living 2025 on 1980 mental software. Neuroscience confirms, through neuroplasticity, we can reshape brain wiring by consistently replacing limiting beliefs with positive thoughts. I made radical updates. Replaced money is hard, with money flows when I solve problems with love. Rewrote productivity means grinding to productivity means alignment and joy. Installed morning rituals, emotional rewiring, gratitude practices. Life accelerated. Not just success, but peace, clarity, synchronicity. We update phones without hesitation, but run lives on kindergarten software. We research laptops, but not beliefs running decisions. Like putting premium gas in a car with flat tires. You're not stuck with the mind you have. You're not limited by inherited beliefs. You're not doomed to repeat patterns. You're the architect. Delete, replace, upgrade, evolve. Imagine your belief dashboard. Click relationships. Find love requires sacrifice. Outdated. Delete. Install. Love thrives on truth and shared growth. Your entire dating lens shifts. You move differently. Choose differently. Results follow. Same for money, health, creativity, confidence. Every life area is programmable. You don't need a guru. You need awareness and willingness to experiment. What belief is holding you back? What if you uninstalled it now? Not fought it, released it, replaced it with something bold, true, useful? That's mental architecture magic. You're no longer environment's passive product. You become reality's conscious designer. Section 11. Greatness is your default. There's a childhood lie wrapped in politeness. Be realistic. Don't dream too big. Don't stand out. Stay safe. Slowly, we shrink, not lacking potential, but trained to distrust it. Truth, You were born extraordinary, not special egotistically, but coded with greatness blueprint. It's your factory setting, not earned, remembered. For years, I battled imposter syndrome while building ventures, hosting events, connecting with world changers, secretly wondering if I was good enough. Until deep stillness cracked the illusion, I wasn't chasing greatness, I was running from it. Accepting brilliance doesn't inflate ego, it obligates soul, demands you stop hiding, stop pretending average to keep others comfortable. Research shows students believing abilities developed through effort achieve more than those believing abilities are fixed. Greatness isn't success's result, it's the source. It happens when you stop playing the world's character and start living your born role. We celebrate babies' first steps, first words, see natural greatness unfolding. But around 7, we say calm down, be quiet, stop showing off. We train extraordinary out, then wonder why adults feel empty. A seed doesn't earn the right to grow, doesn't hustle for approval, just becomes what it is. Oak tree, sunflower, forest, that's you. Under fear and conditioning, your original code remains intact, wild, sacred, untamed. Why don't most live it? It's terrifying, not painful, but true. You feel your capability, see smallness as cost, sense brilliance you've pretended not to have. What part of you stays small, polite, quiet, avoiding your potential's responsibility? What if you drop the act? What opens with permission to be powerful, not perfect? Stop chasing who you think you should become. Start uncovering who you are. Beneath scripts, fears, roles is a you needing no fixing, just remembering. From that center, you don't chase approval. You radiate certainty. Don't fear competition. Inspire transformation. Don't hustle to be extraordinary. Simply stop pretending ordinary. But living this way means you'll disrupt the status quo, and that requires a special kind of courage. Section 12. The peaceful revolutionary. There comes a moment when honoring truth puts you at odds with the world. Speaking clearly feels like breaking rules. Living freely feels like betrayal to raising systems. Most people shrink. The extraordinary evolve. Not fighting with fists, but outgrowing with love. I call this the peaceful revolutionary. Not angry protester or loud disruptor, but soul-refusing broken rules, redesigning reality instead, with grace, vision, joy. Early in my journey, I didn't set out challenging traditional systems, but couldn't ignore what I saw. Outdated methods, irrelevant approaches. So I built better. Not declaring war, but possibility. Created platforms rooted in transformation, not memorization. Emotional fitness, not metrics. Purpose, not pressure. Daring to question, I reinvented pieces. That's peaceful revolution's mark. You don't burn it all down to build new. Just stop obeying rules making you small. Your presence, aliveness, refusal to play dead, that alone is revolution. Peaceful revolution is like being a DJ, not demolition crew. Don't destroy old music, just play better tracks. Slowly, people stop dancing to old rhythms, start moving to yours. No force, just better frequency. Society is a massive operating system. Bloated, slow, buggy, don't hack it. Run your update. Live so vibrantly the old code can't process you. Eventually, it adapts. But it's not always comfortable. Sometimes means saying no to family tradition. Walking from praise but soul-draining careers. Disappointing lovers because you finally love yourself. Where do you still tiptoe? Where are you polite instead of honest? Quiet because it's easier. What if discomfort wasn't problem but compass? When you live truest self, you create sacred tension, the kind cracking possibility, birthing new systems, healing others by witnessing. Don't fight old. Build new so powerfully old becomes obsolete. That's how revolutions happen now. Compassion, not chaos. Alignment, not anger. And the fuel for this revolution? It's not anger, it's joy. Section 13. Bliss over burnout. We worship burnout. Made exhaustion a status symbol. Confuse suffering with sacrifice. Tell ourselves, push harder, then I'll feel enough. But what if that belief destroys your light? I offer different math. Bliss greater than burnout. Not just spiritually, biologically, creatively, strategically. Protect bliss, protect ability to show up, create, lead, love. Building ventures with this core principle. While others bragged about sleepless nights, I focused on culture as foundation. Meditation breaks, joy rituals, laughter sessions. Outsiders mocked. Results spoke, productivity soared, turnover dropped, innovation flowed. Joy isn't distraction, it's momentum's source. Neuroscience shows accomplishing goals releases dopamine and serotonin, linked to happiness. You don't need burnout for dreams. If dreams require self-destruction, they're not dreams. They're demands from a system never caring about well-being. We charge phones faithfully, but run ourselves at 5% for years. Wonder why we crash. Energy isn't infinite, but operating from bliss makes it renewable. Life force as currency. Burnout. Spending without replenishing. Bliss. Every action generates more energy, presence, you. Lit from within, you work wiser, not just harder. Conditioning runs deep. We feel guilty resting, lazy choosing ease. That's not nobility, that's programming. Time to rewrite. When did you last feel unapologetic joy during work? Not weekends, not after goals, inside the process? What if life's goal isn't getting through but dancing with it? Bliss isn't optional, it's oxygen, sharpens intuition, attracts aligned opportunities, makes you magnetic. People feel you're present, not performing. Bliss doesn't mean easy, means energized, not lazy, lit up. Don't earn it. Activate it through clarity, boundaries, play, rest. Choose what lights spirit, release what drains. Your permission slip. Protect energy as sacred. Stop apologizing for joy. Become a lighthouse for yourself and others. Section 14. Thought debugging. Your mind isn't a mirror, it's a filter. What you call reality is just what gets through. Dirty filter, distorted view. Outdated filter, stuck feeling. No amount of hustle works if thought code is corrupted. Treat thoughts like code lines. Debug with precision, curiosity, compassion. Behind every struggle, pattern, trigger, is thinking accepted as truth long ago, never questioned. Research shows brains like repetition. More you think something, truer it becomes. I journal to debug, not document. Write limiting beliefs like, can't scale without burning out, then ask, true? Where from? Who taught this? Serves me now? Usually no. Simple process rewires mind with clarity, not just affirmations. Thoughts aren't facts. They're proposals, suggestions, echoes, some helpful, some harmful, most habitual, all optional. Here's the humor. Thoughts are like spam emails. Just because they arrive doesn't mean they're true, important, or worth attention. You wouldn't rearrange life for Nigerian prince emails. Why do it for random mental pop-ups? Your mind's urgent notifications are often just junk mail from your past. Imagine your mental task manager finding background thoughts. I'm too late. Always mess up. People like me don't succeed. You didn't choose these consciously. They were installed. Now you have root access. Awareness brings power. How to debug, catch thought, don't judge, notice, question thought, true, where learned, recode thought, what's more expansive. Example, old, I'm bad with money. New, I'm learning to partner with money safely and joyfully, not delusion, design, not lying to yourself, upgrading framework for the life you want. What thought have you repeated so often it feels true but holds you back? Write it. Face it, rewrite it, not one-time fix. Practice. Consciousness hygiene. Cleaner thoughts, clearer vision, easier actions. Reality bends through alignment, not magic. Outer world reflects inner code delayed. Change code. Everything catches up. Section 15. Growth equals play. We believe transformation must hurt. Growth needs pain. Evolution requires pressure, trauma, rock bottom. While pain can teach, it's not the only teacher, not even wisest. Sometimes highest you rises from laughter, not ashes. Radical truth, what if growth felt like play, not childish, childlike, curious, expansive, light? This philosophy built my ventures. Didn't want just productive teams, wanted alive humans, gamified work, celebrated experiments, turned meetings creative, made failure fun. Result? Global scaling plus heart-centered innovation magnets. When people feel safe playing, they stop performing, start becoming. Research shows growth mindset thrives on challenge, sees failure as growth springboard, not unintelligence evidence. We stop growing not from age, but seriousness. Attaching growth to shame, pressure, self-judgment. Play dissolves that, moves without fear, unlocks creativity without criticism, invites hidden genius out. Remember learning to bike? No balance theory manual, no momentum seminar. Just got on, fell, laughed, tried again. Play-based learning. Somehow we think adulthood needs different approach. Spoiler, doesn't. Here's the secret. When you approach challenges as games, your brain releases different chemicals. Less cortisol, stress, more dopamine, reward. You literally become smarter, more creative, more resilient when you're playing than when you're working hard. Approach next challenge as game, not test. Don't panic losing game rounds. Laugh, adapt, retry. That energy and personal growth becomes rocket fuel. Where have you made growth heavy? Treated improvement like punishment? What if you dropped weight, danced instead? Evolution doesn't require suffering, just better questions, environments, moods. Growth through play means explore limits fearlessly. Forgive yourself faster. Try things self-consciousness blocked. Create from joy, not just urgency. Not avoiding hard stuff. Approaching with lightness. Light doesn't mean shallow, means agile, adaptable, resilient. Paradox, more you play, more serious results. Not trying harder, but not resisting. Flowing. Process becomes reward. Next journal, how make this fun. Next meditation, how bring playfulness to presence. Next goal, what if this were a game? Ultimate power isn't pushing, it's playing into new paradigms. When joy compasses and curiosity engines, everything changes. Reality updates, mind relaxes, spirit rises. You weren't here suffering to worthiness. You were playing back to truth. Section 16, end the chase. You've been running, quietly, desperately, maybe beautifully, toward a complete feeling version of yourself. Chased it in titles, relationships, numbers, likes, books, gurus, mirror affirmations. Every time you got close, it moved. Finish line shifted. Goalpost vanished. Only the echo remained. Why do I still feel something's missing? Final truth, stop striving to meet true self, not giving up, remembering. The enough, whole, radiant you was never out there, never behind achievement, never future ahead. Here, all along, beneath noise. This isn't about quitting goals, it's untangling identity from them. Realizing better you chasing often disguises self-rejection. The voice saying, you'll be worthy when... But worthiness isn't reward, it's birthright. Most radical thing, stop chasing what you already are. The code beneath code, stop trying to prove, earn, strive, unlock presence, stillness, power. From there, actions don't come from lack but overflow. Don't create to be seen, create because you see yourself. Don't hustle filling voids, move from wholeness. Cosmic joke, we spend lives looking for ourselves everywhere except mirrors. Search achievements, relationships, experiences. Can't find what wasn't lost. Only remember what forgot. You were whole before doing anything. Will be whole after everything. Doing doesn't make you. You make doing. Early years, my drive was fear-laced. Not enough, not respected, not legit. Success came, but didn't soothe. Only when I stopped asking world's permission and started being permission did energy shift. Chase ended. Becoming began. What are you chasing hoping it fixes you? What if you stopped? Not apathy, truth. What if you laid down chase, picked up choice? Freedom lives not in next milestone, but now, right here, this breath, this you. This moment, system rewrites itself. Stop being story's character, become its author. Unplug from program, exit matrix, not rage, grace. You weren't meant fitting pre-written code, meant writing your own. Now, you finally can. Your extraordinary reboot begins now. You've journeyed through 16 paradigm-shifting insights, each a key, each a doorway. Real transformation begins now. Not in notes or mind, in life. Breathe this in. Recap not from intellect, but embodiment. You've shattered mind cages, questioned inherited scripts, uncovered fitting in myths, embraced uniqueness as genius, released brokenness lies, remembered mind is programmable, upgradable, yours. Climbed down wrong ladders into soul goals, discovered joy-fueled drive, working from bliss. Bent reality with present moment happiness. Forgiven to reclaim energy, built inner fortress, unshaken by praise or rejection. Realized you're sky, not storm. Installed mental architecture for future-serving mind. Remembered greatness is default. Stepped into peaceful revolution. Replaced burnout with bliss. Debugged thoughts. Reclaimed growth as play. Ended chase. Returned to truth. Always whole. Question isn't, what should I do next? It's, what will I no longer tolerate from old internal system? Right now, comment below the one mind cage you're shattering. Maybe success means sacrifice. Maybe I need earning love. Maybe I'm not ready. Whatever it is, speak, release, start, rewrite. If this cracks something open, don't let it be moment. Let it be momentum. Subscribe not just for content. Subscribe to evolution, to inner architect awakening. This isn't just idea summary. It's mirror, revolution, beginning of unfiltered you. Remember, you don't need fixing, just remembering. Extraordinary life isn't out there waiting. It's in here awaiting permission. You're free now.